So this one is called a planche, or I've heard it also called a running man, okay? No inversions required for this one. We're gonna work on initially from the ground, and then if you want, you can take it from up higher, whatever kind of level you're comfortable with. But this is definitely one that gets into the mechanics, the physics of pole, of incorporating that push and pull, okay? It's not about your grip strength, it's about finding that balance between push and pull. Okay, so for this one, initially from the ground, so you can start to get a feel just for where your points of contact are. I'm gonna come around to the side and I wanna drop down so my chest is about level and I've got my thigh catching the pole. I don't want it up here on my hip above my hip bone because A, it's not gonna be right in the correct grip area and you're not gonna have a very good hold. And it's gonna hurt like a mofo on your hip, okay, hip bone. So instead I want it below my shorts on my thigh. So you can kind of like turn your thigh out so it catches, okay? My bottom hand is going to reach down. I don't want it fully extended, like so much that my chest drops and I can't come up. Think of bringing your chest level or even slightly above and having this arm where you still have a little give, okay? I'd rather you have the arm a little bit bent than fully extended and nothing else to push with, okay? The top arm is going to be roughly a 90, okay? I prefer a cup, just pushing. A lot of people like to wrap their thumb. Personal preference. I usually prefer to not wrap my thumb because then it tends to get tied up in other transitions, but once again, personal preference, that's fine, okay? So this is where the arms are and the torso is. This leg, very important. This knee, you wanna really think about bringing it towards your nose because basically what's happening is this hand is pushing the pole as hard as you can that way, and this hip is catching and bringing the pole back into your body. So you need to have a nice push and pull between those two. Bottom arm is helping you lift your head and stay up so that these 2 points are still relevant, okay? So knee, think about bringing it to your chest or to your nose. I'm gonna drop down, top hand, pushing as hard as I can that way. And then from here, keeping that push and pull, just try to lift, okay? Nothing too crazy. I just want you to feel how much you have to really impale yourself on the pole with this, okay? So as that starts to get comfortable, we're gonna take it from a cradle or an apprentice. Even though like this variation of getting into it from the floor is kind of nice, you can feel where it's going to go and it kind of takes away some of that fear and pressure because you're right there, you can kind of gently pick up your foot and come back down. I actually find that getting into it from there, it's harder to find it right in the right spot. I actually feel like it's easier to transition into it from a cradle or an apprentice, okay? So if you've gotten a feel for that on the ground, you feel like, okay, like I can lift my foot even for a millisecond, we're going to take it to a cradle, okay? So outside hand is going to be about face height. Inside hand, arm is straight but not hyperextended. I prefer the finger down, personal preference. Some people are very anti-finger, some people are very pro-finger. You do you, okay? So inside hand is down. I'm going to start with my inside leg up. Very important that this is parallel to the ground or above because I'm holding with this hip, much like I'm going to be switching to holding with the other hip in a second in that planche pose, okay? Top arm, pull across. So here's my cradle. I want to drop so my torso is almost parallel. And then now here, very important, I'm going to push with my thumb and turn my fingers over, okay? Now this hand is going to push that direction, rotate hips to the ground and extend, okay? So just this rotation, depending on how long you've been doing pole. For a lot of people when they first start pole, we have a death grip, okay? Because we're afraid we're going to die. You want to work on having enough grip that it can sustain you, but not so much grip that A, you're using useless energy and you're overworking this. We start getting a lot of tendonitis and things like that. Oftentimes people are over gripping with that, okay? So try when you're, if you're not ready to take it to the transition, try just getting into your cradle and try switching to pushing with the thumb and just wiggle your fingers instead of trying to milk the cow, okay? So this hand is here, initial true grip. I'm pushing with this part of my hand into the pole and keeping that contact as I roll my hand over, okay? You can do this planche pose in this shape, but excuse me, I find that it just takes so much more energy. You're having to, it's a weird mechanics, and oftentimes people tend to pull versus push in this grip, versus when this comes over, you don't have the option to pull, so you have to start pushing, okay? So like I said, you can do it this way, but I would encourage you to try to work on doing that switch, okay? So start in this cradle, inside leg high, here, slide down, push with that thumb so you can turn your grip. Now, right now, my hips are facing towards the pole. Now, as I bring this knee to my face, I'm gonna rotate hips to the ground. This leg can be bent, can be straight, whatever kind of shape you wanna go to, okay? So play around with the shapes these on that. So initially in the cradle, I start here, hips here, I'm going to transition to cradle, hips are stacked, and then I'm going to transition all the way over until my hips are pointing down. So the more you think of trying to face your hips to the floor, the more this is going to lock in on that running man or that planche. Okay, and then to get out of it, and if you're on the floor, you can just set your legs down, or if you're up higher, you can take it into a pole sit. So if I'm here, extend out and sink. Okay, so planche or running man, play around with that one. Let me know if you have any questions. Have fun with it.